Going public, it's a huge milestone for a company that represents years of labor, efforts, and love from the company's founders, early employees, and investors. When you join the NYSE community of over 2,400 listed companies, you're equipped with the right tools to meet market demand, attract investors, and continue a trajectory for growth. And there's more than one way you could go public. In 2018, Spotify was our first company to go public via NYSE direct listing. Since then, companies of all sizes, from Roblox to ZipRecruiter, have taken advantage of this new way of listing on the largest equities exchange in the world. The New York Stock Exchange direct floor listing started off as an idea between the Spotify executive team and the NYSE management team. Together, they wanted to harness new ways to pursue going public. This kicked off a years-long process with regulators, bankers, and so much more. The story is captured in Insider Chief Finance Correspondent Dakin Campbell's book, Going Public. He spoke with Inside the Ice House's Josh King last year.
Yeah, so here's where the NYSE comes into the story. It's October 2016. McCarthy has moved from Stockholm back to New York City, and then he gets the then NYSE president, Tom Farley. What goes down at that meeting between Barry and Tom, and what does Farley do next?
He goes down the elevator and walks out onto the street. You know, he calls his boss, Jeff Sprecher, and he says, "Jeff, you'll never believe this meeting I just had. You know, Spotify wants to directly list their shares. They want to cut out the investment banks." You know, Sprecher, who's been around a long time, says like, "Oh, that sounds interesting, but I bet the banks will be involved. You know, Spotify will need them in many other realms of the financial markets than just an IPO, and will eventually have to kick in the banks."
But what's the difference? A few key factors.
In a nutshell, a direct listing provides a way for companies to go public without a traditional underwritten offering or an issuance of new shares to the public.
Now, without the book building process, how is the reference price set?
Sure. So the reference price is really based on conversations that the New York Stock Exchange has with the financial advisors that are working on the transaction, and that's disclosed to the marketplace on the day before the listing day of the transaction. I think one of the benefits of the direct listing is that there really is no difference. Once the company is public, it's public just like any other public issuer. It has the same regulatory and reporting requirements. The main difference is just the fact that, unlike an IPO, there is no underwriter, so there's no stabilization activity in the aftermarket, and there's no underwriter that's been providing any other type of service. Very similar to a direct listing, the direct listing plus primary raise really just allows an issuer to sell shares itself, or primary shares, in the opening auction instead of or in addition to the selling shares that are being sold by the selling stakeholders. I would say that it's another option that issuers have as they consider other alternatives of being able to actually access the public markets, whether that's SPACs, IPOs, or a direct listing.
No two companies are the same. Each will have its own unique, exciting story about the process of going public. And now, thanks to the innovation inside the New York Stock Exchange, there are now many ways to get you on this podium.